had faith. In January 1986, the NRA marched into Kampala. Museveni became president.
And that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. So help me God.
Museveni's early years were widely praised. After years of coups and bloodshed, he restored relative stability. The army was reorganized. Regional insurgencies were pushed back. The economy was stabilized. HIV/AIDS was confronted openly, earning international praise. Museveni promised no-life presidency, calling African leaders who clung to power a problem.
For the first time, we are going to talk about the population, their life, their political rights, their economic interests. That will be the center of gravity of whatever we are doing.
Uganda was presented as a new model for post-conflict recovery, but power was becoming centralized. Museveni learned early that power in Uganda was fragile.
Police shooting in the street.
Hundreds of people died during protests.
Full picture of what has happened obscured by a 6-day internet shutdown.
Rais wa Tanzania Samia Suluhu Hassan ametetea hatua
Protests on a scale never before seen in Tanzania.
The violence erupted on October the 29th, election day in Tanzania.
Disturbing video shows police shooting in the street.
Hundreds of people died during protests.
Full picture of what has happened obscured by a 6-day internet shutdown.
Rais wa Tanzania Samia Suluhu Hassan ametetea hatua zilizochukuliwa na vyombo vya ulinzi na usalama wakati wa machafuko ya Oktoba 29 mwaka huu.
There's this narrative of Tanzania is stable, peaceful,
but being silent does not necessarily mean peace.
Amnesty International says the country has descended into one of the darkest periods in its democratic history.
Artists, opposition politicians, human rights activists have been abducted.
Kwamba tuwaumize wachache ili wengi waogope.
It's a plague. It's a plague. It's like a disease.
I was going out of breath. Their aim was to kill.
Sijui kama natoka nikiwa hai.
They'd hit me. Hit me.
I was so scared.
I was thinking like, there's no hope here. There's no hope of surviving.
It was the longest night of my life. They led us down to a car and then they closed the door and drove off.
Tanzania has always been deemed as democratic, but it is because people oftentimes only see the surface.
They beat me so much, I could barely walk.
What has been going on behind the facade is a nightmare.
Tell us, who is sending you? Who is giving you permission to disturb the government?
It's no longer just human rights activists or journalists or opposition, but now we are seeing many other people being abducted just out of nowhere, just because somehow they ended up on the wrong side of the government.
Na hata sasa hivi bado na wingi. Unaishi kwenye hofu wewe, lakini pia hata wanaokuzunguka nao wanaishi kwenye hofu kama wewe.
It's rapid, it's brutal, it's really well organized, it's cold-blooded completely. I would have loved to do this interview in person, but I cannot risk it to, continuously tempt people whose only intention is actually to shut you up. When somebody gets abducted, the first thing I do is tweet it out. I've become the go-to person. It's like the crisis center for abductions. It's a plague. It's a plague. It's like a disease. So far, we have documented 200 cases. Unfortunately, more than half of them have completely disappeared, and we don't know where they are.
Kwamba tuwaumize wachache ili wengi waogope. Hata mimi ni miongoni mwa watu ambao nilikuwa nipotezwe. Chadema ndo chama kikuu cha upinzani. Nilianza kuwa active 2014. Mtu akiwa anakosoa serikali ya Tanzania kwa sasa, kitu cha kwanza ambacho wanajua, lazima watanitafuta.
Kesho ni muda mwafaka wa kutumia maandamano haya.
Soka ni mwanachama mwenzangu wa Chadema. Alituma message kwa baadhi ya marafiki zake kwamba nimeitwa kituo cha polisi kwa ajili ya kukagua pikipiki, lakini nina hofu.
Haki ya maandamano ni haki ya kikatiba.
Tangu hapo hatukuwahi kumwona tena.
My name is Mdude Nyagali.
Mdude alikuwa anatekwa, baadaye wakimtocha wanamtupa.
Tunahitaji katiba mpya.
Mwaka huu alivamiwa na watu wasiojulikana nyumbani kwake. Tangu wakati huo mpaka leo hatujui kama Mdude yuko hai.
Sasa kwa nini sasa hivi hakuna wajibikaji?
Zangu niko na kaka zangu hapa.
Mdude ni mmoja kati ya watu ambao walikuwa wanamkosoa sana Rais Samia na serikali yake.
Hii video inakuhusu wewe mwenyewe na sio mtu mwingine. Na ili
Shadrack Chaula alichukua ile picha akaichoma moto akiwa anarekodi video. Alikamatwa akafikishwa mahakamani. Akatoka. Baada ya kutoka alitekwa na watu ambao hawajulikani ni wakina nani. Tangu wakati huo mpaka leo hajapatikana.
Car journey like this were nothing exceptional, but now they are. I'm a human rights activist. I engage actively in politics on social media, and because of that I have to flee from Tanzania. I'm living in a foreign country, but doesn't mean that I'm safe. It's expensive, it's lonely, scary. Before June 2024, I had good life until when it came the date when I was being abducted. On Sunday of 23rd, I was having a date with my brother in Coco Beach. I've been looking for a house for rent, and I found one through my agent. Suddenly, the agent called me. That guy who was living in the house had left, so come and see the house. When you reach at Kimara Korogwe, call me. The agent arrived at the station. After I climbed the motorcycle, suddenly someone came on the motorcycle and came, and the guy hung down on my neck like this. The agent was like shivering, like, these guys have been with us since afternoon. Just please go and talk to them. They took me to police station known as Oysterbay. They didn't take me to the reception. They drive until taking me to the backyard of the police station. On my phone, it was switched off there at the Oysterbay police station. Suddenly, the motor car arrived. They were now starting asking, "Hey, Sativa, the top man from the government is looking for you. Tell us exactly what is it are you doing?" I was now trying to look, who is that top man looking for me? Who is he? I know a lot of officers because I've been in politics. How come I don't know this guy? He's talking like he's forcing himself. What is his name? How many years? And then he told the guy, take him, go and stay with him there. As I was taken far from that meeting, I was not able to hear or see anything. I now heard that motor car, it is now leaving. Later on now, they told me, there are some guys who are coming for you. So I was just thinking, if I just hear the car, they are the one. It was silent until the morning, and then I heard a motor car arriving.
Mwenyekiti wa Jumuiya ya Madaktari Tanzania, Dr. Steven Olimboka, amekutwa amejeruhiwa vibaya baada ya kupigwa na watu wasiojulikana na baadaye kutelekezwa kwenye maeneo ya Mubwepande nje kidogo ya jiji la Dar es Salaam.
Abductions are not new in Tanzania. During the time of President Kikwete, we saw a public abduction happened during the doctor strike. The leader of the doctors, Steven Olimboka, was very vocal. They had pulled out his teeth, his nails. They tortured him. That, of course, continued under Magufuli. There was such severe repression, especially attacks on human rights defenders, journalists, and many others. But since 2021, we're seeing an acceleration under Samia Suluhu.
It has been a year since Samia Suluhu Hassan took over power as president of Tanzania, and she has made significant strides in various key sectors within health, diplomacy, democracy, and economics.
People had a lot of hopes on Madam Samia Suluhu Hassan. The way they felt is that she's different from Magufuli, and the democratic and the civic space will now be much better. People were seeing a mother.
I want to see peaceful and stable Tanzania. I want to see Tanzania with a democratic space.
Today, I removed the ban on holding political rallies.
The lifting of the ban is part of the present political reconciliation and reform drive.
Tanzania is coming to light. It was hope. It was hope. It was hope.
You have been a champion in terms of democratic reforms in this country.
To some extent, there is some change. But in the other aspect, still, it's continued to be too dark to see.
Chama kikuu cha upinzani nchini humo Chadema kimesema kuwa kinatarajia kutumia nguvu ya umma kwa mujibu wa sheria ili kushinikiza uwajibikaji wa serikali kutokana na matukio ya kukamatwa, kuteswa na kuuawa kwa viongozi wa upinzani.
The civic space started to shrink.
Wagombea hawa walioenguliwa ni wa vyama vya upinzani. Hii inatoa taswira gani kuhusu uchaguzi huu?
Right to participate or being voted has been so limited. Freedom of expression is very limited. And the people are in fear.
Tumechoka chaguzi ambazo wizi wa kura sasa ni jambo la kawaida. Ndio maana tunasema no reform, no election.
Mwenyekiti wa chama kikuu cha upinzani nchini Tanzania Chadema, Tundu Lissu, anakabiliwa na mashtaka ya uhaini miongoni mwa mengine matatu. Polisi nchini Tanzania ilisema kwamba Lissu alikamatwa jana mkoani Ruvuma kwa tuhuma za kufanya uchochezi wa kutofanyika uchaguzi mkuu wa mwaka huu wa 2025.
Mkurugenzi wa uchaguzi wa Tume Huru ya Taifa ya Uchaguzi Ramadhani Kailima amesema Chadema imeshindwa kusaini hati ya maadili iliyotakiwa kufanyika siku ya Jumamosi, hivyo kumaanisha kuwa chama hicho kimeondolewa kwenye uchaguzi wa mwezi Oktoba.
Nilienda kwa ajili ya kuonesha solidarity kwa Lissu. Ni siku ambayo polisi walipiga sana watu, waliumiza sana watu. Akaja askari wa kike akaniambia natakiwa ofisini kwa zonal crime officer. Tumefika pale Central, mimi niliingiziwa mlango wa nyuma. Wakachukua simu yangu na wao wakawa wanaomba password ya simu. Nikawa nakataa. Walikuwa wananiambushi na makofi. Toa password! Toa password! Alitoka yule mmoja akarudi na kitu kama tochi hivi. Akanimulika nacho kwenye macho. Yaani kile kitochi akikumulika hivi kwenye macho, unakuwa kama jicho linatoka kwa nje hivi. Wakaniambia ukicooperate vizuri unaondoka unaenda nyumbani. Akaja yule askari, yule mpelelezi wa kike, akaja na fomu. Hii ni fomu yako, unatakiwa ujizamini ili uende nyumbani ukamnyonyeshe mtoto. Nasema asante Mungu. Naenda nyumbani kumuona mtoto. Tumefika pale counter. Akawaambia wale askari mchukueni mpelekeni ndani. Akaniambia ZCO amesema kesho asubuhi anataka kukuoji. Nikamwambia basi naomba mniandike kwenye logbook ili ndugu zangu wakija wajue kwamba niko hapa. Akakataa. Mpaka natoka kuniambia kosa langu mwenyewe.
They don't make you to sign on the law so that it can be easier for them to make sure that nobody knows that you are there. Second, in case during the interrogation you die, nobody should be responsible. Third, you don't have anywhere to prove that you are holding somewhere.
It appears that it's not a positive way that Tanzania is taking at the moment.
The European Commission must closely monitor developments, and especially Tundu's trial.
This is not a standalone case. It exemplifies the regime's treatment of political opposition, civil society organizations, journalists, indigenous peoples, and human rights defenders. Anyone who poses a threat to the ruling elite is effectively silenced.
Good morning, fam. This is my room in Serena, Tanzania. In Tanzania to support someone who is in prison, who is an opposition leader. Our journey to Tanzania was to show the state of human rights in Tanzania, get to meet Tundu Lissu, and share what's happening to him with the rest of the world. We were like 12 of us, and all of us arrived from different flights. The flight I was in was with Mother Karua, I was with Lingugi and Gloria Kimani. And so we entered the country, and 3 of us on that particular flight were deported back.
The 3 of us have been detained awaiting deportation.
Then a few hours later, there was Hussein Khalid, Hanifa, and Willy Mutunga landed.
We've been stopped here at the airport.
Then they were deported.
I get off the plane thinking that I will probably be sent back home. I get through immigration, and the journey from the airport to the hotel, I'm just thinking about sleeping. You need to confront problems of this world when you have at least had good sleep. I get to the hotel. I knew that Boniface was already there. So I tell him I have arrived, and I sleep.
Who's waiting for me? My phone rings, and they say there's some officers who want to talk to me downstairs. When they knocked the door, I was, okay, what do you want? I'm in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, and there are officers outside my room. They said they want to see me, but they're not saying the reason why they want to see me. Inspection kwa usiku wa manane. Siwafunzi kazi, mimi naogopa tu.
Wala kuna sababu ya kuogopa.
Huku watu wanapotezwa nchi hii.
Hakuna kitu kama hicho.
Watu wanashikwa wanapotezwa, mimi naogopa kupotezwa.
Don't worry.
No, I'm worried. What offense have I committed? I said, I'm willing to give you my passport under the door, and you can go verify and then come back. But I was not willing to leave my hotel room in the cover of darkness with unknown people. I've taken the glass that was on top of this table over here, taken those 2 chairs, locked my door over here to ensure that in case they break in, I at least have a headset to start recording. I spent the night scared that they'll break the door, and I did not sleep a wink.
I wake up and there are so many missed calls. I go down to the restaurant. I find everyone else there apart from Boniface. So I call him. He said, I'm afraid to come out. Boniface was supposed to leave that day. So he says, I need to check out of this room, and I don't trust the reception to leave them with my luggage with all that's happening. So that's when I tell him that I am spending another night here. I can actually take your luggage. So I keep his bag and come to the restaurant. I didn't find him seated at the table. And we had Bonnie shouting.
I went to the bathroom. When I came out, I found like 4 or 5 officers outside the bathroom. And I ran screaming the entire hotel, screaming. Hey! I ran screaming.
Identify yourselves! Identify yourselves!
I saw some officer running after Boniface. Then I went and intervened and I said, relax Boniface, let me handle it. What the Tanzania immigration did to try to ascertain where do you stay or how do you enter, that it's legal. The only problem, why do you go at the middle of the night? Because our law is very clear. I want to do inspection or to do that arrest, I should wait until 6.
They said, okay, now it was a mistake, but now it is not 1 a.m. Would like you to come with us to our office. So Boniface is taken. Now for us, we go to court.
So I say, okay, we're going with you to the migration to ask you a couple of questions. And I'm questioned from a lawyer, who are you, what do you do, why are you in this country? I say, we're coming for Tundu Lissu's case. And then he says, where are your phones? I said, I don't have my phones. I said, where are your phones? That's when it all began. And then they say, now you need to go back to your hotel, search your room. I can't find my phones, not even my bag. So the hotel security manager shows up, take us to the security room, and they show us this video. Agatha coming to my room, leaving my room with my bag. And then that's when they picked Agatha.
There's no point where we were explained to where we were being taken or what for. We are picked up from the hotel and taken to, I later learned it was immigration office, where I am interrogated.
Things took a very dark turn when some very tall guy comes in and starts slapping me. Says, who are you? You're coming to destroy our country. And then I asked some of those guys quietly, who is this? He works for the state. Then says, you're a mabusu. Mabusu means you're a prisoner. Now the threats became real now, because he hit me around and said, gather your things, you're going to Central Police Station.
Ile selo kwanza ni sehemu ambayo hata adui yangu siwezi kumwambia awepo pale. Kuna kijana aliletwa ambaye kama bahati tu tunatoka naye mtaa mmoja. Aliponikuta pale akawa anashangaa. Nimeona hapo watu wamekuletea chakula, wameambiwa kwamba haupo hapa, umejizamini umetoka. Ndo pale nikajua wamenifix. Maana yake ile karatasi walinijazisha ili hata ikitokea wamenipoteza. Maana yake ilikuwa ni jambo ambalo linaonekana nimepotea, lakini sijapotea kwenye mikono yao. Nilikuwa naomba Mungu anisaidie nitoke, nikamwone mtoto wangu. Nilikuwa nimepoteza matumaini kabisa.
after I entered in that motorcar, my mind now was shivering, fear, trying to figure out where am I going. So I was having a lot of things in my head. After some time now of the journey, they were now trying to make me believe they're taking me to Malawi. We're going to show you the Lembula Mountains. So that moment they are taking off the hood is when I saw the driver. I can just see a tattoo on his arm, also having long dreads. It was a long journey. They were smoking, they were drinking. Finally, we arrived at the place where they were taking me, and then they entered me inside the cell, and then they took the hood and they left. When I was inside that cell, I was being saved by people who were in uniform of police services.
We go to Central Police Station.
Bonnie is taken straight inside.
And they say, those four, you're going to produce them. I was being slapped around. Slapped, choked, manhandled. They said, we're going to circumcise you. I said, I'm circumcised. They said, we're going to do that again. This guy who came, the one side beating me at the immigration office, the tall guy in a suit, says, you'll never see my face again, but you'll never forget my face. Because what will happen to you today, you'll never forget for the rest of your life. When the lawyers started defending me, they were told, tutachunguza uzalendo wenyu. I think the lawyers knew what these guys were capable of, and they were scared for their lives. They left us in the den of wolves to be eaten alive.
The lawyers come out, and one of the lawyers tells me that they have been told to leave, that for us we are going to be detained, and that they have been told to come for us in the morning. So I asked him, but you are a lawyer. You're being dismissed from the police station. You don't know what your clients have been even charged with, so they are detaining us for what exactly? And he said he doesn't know.
So you're not patriotic. That remark was remarked against us. And it sent a chilling message. Having your lawyer when you are being interviewed is a requirement of the law. So ordering my lawyer to go outside was contrary to the law. But sometimes we have to use wisdom. So I'm not saying that we are free from being blamed, but people should understand that the environment which we are working is not the same you can work in Kenya or South Africa or America. They should understand that we operate with caution also.
I tell him, okay, before you leave, at least ask them to allow me make a phone call to check on my children. As I'm still asking the lawyer questions, this gentleman comes and tells the guy that he told him to leave. He said, if you cared about your children, you wouldn't have left them to be here, so you are not calling anyone. A few minutes after that, they called me inside as well. This gentleman, I wouldn't remember what he started with, but I remember when he said, I will teach you a lesson and you'll go and write a very beautiful story about Tanzania. Then he said, do you have children? This is like the third time I'm being asked if I have children. I said, yes, if you must know. And he said, how many? 2. Do you want a third one? If you want a third one, Tanzania is happy to do that. Of course, in my mind, I had already registered that as a rape threat. Yeah, so now I started to get scared. After he said that, They said, okay, you leave and wait for us outside. Both me and Boniface. Boniface is frightened. In this moment, he was completely quiet.
I could see where this was going. In my mind, I had an idea it's going to get worse.
I sit with him, and he says, Agatha, we are going to die. We are seated there, and 6 people come in.
And there, at that moment, I knew it's a done deal. They're going to get tortured. And it was going to be bad. But even in my mind, I never thought what happened to us would happen to us.
They pass and enter inside. I got worried after seeing them. They come out and said, you, let's go.
Recently, the police released a press release. What was very surprising was them saying that most of the abductions are personal strife. Witch doctors were involved in some cases, people have deaths and they disappear. But what is very strange, none of the politically motivated abductions have ever been solved.
We traveled a full day, and I was taken in a cell where I spent a night and a day. They came and took me away. They told me, today we have the new one. We call him Mjomba or Uncle. We traveled for almost 3 hours, and then we stopped. Down there were sticks, the logs, the iron bars, panga, and they told me to sit down. One was recording me. Why do you disturb the government? They started hitting me. Hitting the ankles, hitting the knees. Down here, the whole part of me, they were beating me. I was hit badly at the spinal cord. You know that feeling when even now when I'm speaking, it's like it's passing through. It was a tough hour of my life. After then, they told me, okay, for now, we are taking you back to Dar es Salaam. But don't say anything. We will come to take you again. You will think maybe you are hiding, but we'll find you.
We were taken downstairs through the back stairs to the parking. The guys had AK-47 in the car, like big guns. There was a white Land Cruiser. They ask Agatha questions. I tell them Agatha does not speak Swahili. And they laugh and make fun of us. By the time you're done with her, she'll be speaking Swahili.
Now when I am put inside that car, I am blindfolded. I suffocated, like I couldn't breathe. I was asking myself, why are you feeling this way, yet this is a moment you knew would come. The work that I do, there's so many threats. But then I told myself, I didn't know it would come like this. I didn't know it would come in Tanzania. For what? Then I think I came to this acceptance of, yeah, this is happening. The only regret I had in that moment was that I hadn't wished my children goodbye.
They got me out of the car. Then at distance, they told me, remove all your clothes. So I removed all the clothes and said, remove your underwear. Then they lifted me and handcuffed me on a long stick in between two tables. They applied oil on my feet, and then they would hit me and hit me. They told me, I'm making too much noise. I'm gonna wake up the kids. So they stuffed my underwear in my mouth. They were playing gospel music in the background, Swahili gospel music.
I had Boniface screaming. They increased the volume. So you were thinking that you had come to that level of acceptance, but you hadn't, because now you're realizing what is going to happen. I was so scared.
It was so much pain. I had no tears. My body went into shock. And then they stopped, then said, weka moto, which says put fire. So they went to my backside and they opened my butt cheeks and applied oil. And then they would start putting, I don't know if it was a stick, whatever it was, and they just push it to the very end. They removed the underwear from my mouth.